Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about Transformers the movie from 1986. I like this one. It's the 30th anniversary edition. It's got a pretty cool other side underneath that. I really like this. I don't know why. The movie itself, on the other hand, I'm not too big on. It's actually my second favorite Transformers movie, so do with that what you will. And I think that just speaks to the quality of the other Transformers movies. It's directed by Nelson Shin, and like I said, it's from 1986. It stars Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime and Ironhide, Frank Welker as Megatron and Soundwave, Leonard Nimoy as Galvatron, Orson Welles as Unicron, Judd Nelson as Hot Rod and Rodimus Prime, and Scatman Crothers, who, if you don't know, he plays Dick Halloran in The Shining. He plays Jazz in this. There's a lot more Transformers that are in the movie, but those are the big recognizable names, so I decided to throw them in. And it's always nice to have Peter Cullen and Frank Welker. They've voiced the characters now for like 40 years or something like that. It has a 58% on Rotten Tomatoes, and with a budget of $6 million, it made $5.8 million at the box office. So this is actually the first movie I've talked about on both YouTube and Instagram that has lost money. So it's not a great movie, but compared to everything else, it's leaps and bounds above. It very much sticks to a normal Transformers script, and the reason I say that is a normal episode, the Decepticons attack, and then the Autobots beat them. Woo! And the animation quality is kind of 80s anime style versus the sleeker animation that came out that same year with Disney's The Great Mouse Detective. It is what it is. I will give this movie, this is why I'm going to rank it the way I do, but I'll give this movie this. The opening battle lasts like 30 to 40 minutes, so probably about half of the movie. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this, kills off both Optimus Prime and Megatron. Now yeah, Megatron comes back in the form of Galvatron, but how are you about to kill off your two main leads? Well, what they were intending to do was to make new Transformers, aka new toys for parents to buy. This didn't go well for them though, and the only one they were really able to get off without a hitch was Unicron. And while Megatron comes back, Optimus Prime doesn't until like I want to say the third season of the TV show, but I haven't watched that in so many years that I wouldn't be able to tell you 100%. Now, this is the second to last on-screen performance for Orson Welles, who had died in 1985 of a heart attack. He had already obviously previously recorded everything he needed to for this movie and the last movie he's in that came out in 1987. So, rest in peace, Citizen Kane. Now, the only time I ever really felt engaged during this movie was anytime I saw Hot Rod and Unicron. But that's because their actors were pretty established. I mean, Judd Nelson plays both John Bender in The Breakfast Club and Alec Newberry in The St. Elmo's Fire. So, those are two very iconic 80s movies that I rather enjoy. So, I was excited to see them. And of course, Orson Welles needs no introduction. I mean, he's just phenomenal. The music is strange. Lots of like 80s hair metal, but like soft hair metal. You got Stan Bush's The Touch, and then the Transformers theme is very transformed in that 80s rock, 80s hair metal type deal, but that doesn't bother me too much. I know a lot of people hate it. It doesn't bother me. I'm going to rank this a 5 out of 10. Now, I know that's pretty controversial because this is a very popular movie, but in my opinion, the first half is really what's good, and then the middle little bit bores me, but then the end is really good as well. Doesn't really earn it any credit, but like I said, compared to the other Transformers movies, this is leaps and bounds better. Hey, that's not up to standards like Bumblebee, which is my favorite Transformers movie, but it's better than anything Michael Bay ever produced. Tonight on Instagram, tomorrow on YouTube, we're going to talk about a movie I've actually not seen or read the book for. Scary Stories Tell in the Dark is what we're going to be watching. I'm curious. I've heard a lot of great things about it, so I don't have much nostalgia for it because I didn't read I didn't even know this was a book until the movie came out last year. And so I haven't seen it, but I want to do more horror movies. In fact, later today, probably a couple hours, depending on how these videos upload, I'm also going to do it's a top 10 with like 10 more honorable mentions of horror movies. I'm just I'm very indecisive when it comes to not what is my favorite horror movie, because people who know me already know the answer to that, and they can probably guess what number 1 is. But there's just so many that would fit in the number 10 spot for me. So there's like 10 honorable mentions. So it may just turn into a top 20 where the first 10 are in no particular order, and then the last 10 are definitely in a particular order. But I'll get more into that when I do that video today. So until that point, this has been Transformers the movie. Honestly, go check it out if you can. Watch the show. I mean, Transformers was one. I have so many of them up in the attic. I was actually going to get my hot rod down and have them up here, but I didn't have time to do it. I've got Hot Rod and Optimus Prime that I was going to have here, but I didn't have time to get them down, so we didn't end up doing that. But go check out this movie if you haven't seen it. It's quite interesting. It's an interesting piece of cinema history. And, you know, like I said, it can get boring, but it's an 80s animated movie. You know, we're not looking for blow them up. So if you're judging it on an 80s animated movie, this might be like a 10 out of 10. But I'm looking at things like how the story goes, and did you get bored at all? What half was good? What half was bad? What were the characters like? Stuff like that. In my opinion, the characters were all okay, and the voice acting was great. But man, they killed off Optimus Prime. This shit makes me sad when I watch it. I can't, man. I really can't. But it's still a good movie. I still recommend you go watch it. So yeah. Until a little bit from now, because I've got a whole bunch of props we're gonna set up for the horror ranking. I'm really excited about this one, but I'll get more into that in a little bit. Until that point, I am Luke, and I will see you guys later.